Hi, I'm Doug Ward from TechWitten. Today I'm here with the founder of Flow, Colin Hewitt. Nice to meet you, Colin.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for your time. First things first, do you let our viewers know about yourself and Flow?
Okay, I'm Colin Hewitt. I started a web development company back in 2002, so that's been going about 10 years. Basically, that was great. I really enjoyed it. I learned how to build and deploy applications, and we were sort of finding our feet really. Started off straight out of university, and eventually after starting to work on other people's apps and on businesses, we started getting above ourselves, thinking we could move away from client work and actually get the chance to really work and give ourselves to a product. I went over to a thing called Startup School in California that was run by Y Combinator for a day, and got to hear like Mark Zuckerberg and Jason Fried and all these guys talking about what they were doing, all the ring, very inspirational, and just came back with right, I can do this now. So I've been working a bit with Phil and realised he was a pretty good developer. As far as we worked well together, we kind of understood the problem, not just by writing code, and we had this problem in our business about cash flow. We were always, I was always worrying about when we were going to run out of money and when we need to get invoices paid and how many potential jobs we had. And basically we decided that we can, instead of moving away from a spreadsheet and pretty much build an app for this, that we can guide people through and help them run the cash flow. And we kind of started using Free Agent, which is an online accounting software, and just realized, wow, this is almost there, but we need to get the information out of that into our forecast, and that's really where the idea of Flow came. We thought it would take about 3 months to build, and it's taken us about 18. So there's always a lot of unexpected roadblocks that you hit, but that's part of the thing to start off. And I actually just got back from the States in February and realised that even though we were kind of incubating Flow as a side project, it really needed to be full, given our full attention, and so sold that business, and we moved in here on Friday.
Just for our viewers, we're actually in the Tech Cube right now.
Yeah,
If you'd like to let them know a little bit about that, it's fantastic.
It's pretty exciting story actually. Just we've been feeling over the last 6 months we've been feeling there's really something starting to build in Edinburgh in the tech community. Lots of hearing stories about guys who are starting up, and just felt like there's a good community support. Tended previously, I think people tend to be quite secretive. You didn't know what they were working on, and then with the likes of things like Tech Meetup starting and a few different kind of things like Bar Camp. The community's become a lot closer, and people have got into their heads that sharing is a good thing. Basically just heard about, it kind of all came together that this building came available. Somebody had bought it, bought the whole complex and didn't know what to do with this, and somebody said, well, why don't we run a tech incubator? It kind of still started to happen. It was a rundown building, hadn't really been properly decommissioned from all the lab stuff that used to be. It was like a vet building. And so we put up a doodle saying we need help, come and turn this into a tech incubator, and we had 30 people sign up, and it was basically just every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, a different team of people came in and put on their gloves and their high-vis jackets and started taking down ceilings and ripping out carpets. It was really good fun actually, and I think even in that kind of 6-week period, a lot of people became a lot of better friends. We kind of always had breakfast together, and then went out for beers afterwards. So sort of working together was quite nice. It was nice getting away from the computers as well.
So just to be clear, it's still in development. You're not quite opened yet.
No. So we moved out of our office on the 31st of March, and then we had a sort of month of being nomadic. And we moved in here on Friday, which was the beginning of May. So it's the first floor, the carpet's just gone down and the painting's been finished, but there's still like the extra 6 floors are still a building site, and there's a lot of work still to happen. But the thing was to sort of get it to where this floor to where we could start to see companies moving in, and actually this floor is pretty much full now. So
I must say it's looking great.
yeah, it's amazing what a bit of paint and carpet and PV chairs and desks can do. Yeah, it's really good space. And for a startup, it's great to be in with other people as well. Like just get that community feel. It's not just Phil and I. There's a lot of interaction, and it just feels like a good place to be.
One thing I was going to ask you, Colin, was for the viewers, the main pulls that you see for Edinburgh as the tech ecosystem. What do you see as its strengths? Naturally, this place has got to be a massive pull.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Edinburgh's a beautiful city, and the University of Edinburgh is, got a great reputation. It's great computer science setup, and also informatics. They just opened this amazing new building in the last couple of years. But they've also had this thing called Informatics Ventures, which started a couple of years ago, and really they started doing this thing called CEO Masterclass, where they bring over these guys from Stanford and sit down with company leaders and start engaging. And so the university really did sort of kickstart, I think, a lot of this work of getting guys over from the States, which is inspiring, and then talking about raising money, how to structure your board, how to work as a team, all that kind of stuff that's kind of just drip fed into our brains in a way that started making us think, all right, that's how we should do it, and understanding that whole sort of raising money and the roadmap that you go on as an entrepreneur, it's definitely been really helpful. So the university did start a lot of stuff. They also let us use the building for Tech Meetup, which kind of gathered that kind of geek community together in a really good way. People do talks, they talk about what they're working on. It's kind of really validated that community, and there's lots of other meetups that happen, but Tech Meetup's kind of like the one that brings everybody together. There's also, we started this thing called the Lean Startup Circle, which is just kind of a little less technical than Tech Meetup, more business, more talking about lean ways to do product development and share that information. So what we do is you discuss your business model, and people would just give feedback, and that's we find that to be really valuable as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the community aspect is great, and just I think there's just there's some good VC companies up here. We've got Pentech. We've also got new syndicates. They're starting up. There's Power Equity. There's Equity Gap. There's Angels Den. There's a bunch of stuff happening there. They're doing talks as well, and Scottish Enterprise are playing a role as well.
Is there anything in particular that you'd like to see the government do to help the community?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always difficult because it feels like the space for business has changed a lot in the last 10 years. The tech startup scene is very different. It's a very different mindset. It's much more, inbound marketing than sort of going out to trade shows and that kind of thing. And I think we just want to see, we want to see the government keeping up with that kind of mindset. Probably we have to learn from what's going on in the States, and I think bringing people over and bringing some vision into it is really important. So learning from like the MIT, things in Silicon Valley, it'd be great to see them like helping the incubator and really just bringing good education into startup businesses. So we're kind of coming out with the best education in how to raise money and how to structure your teams and your boards and do set up your terms and how you do your investing and all that sort of stuff with your business documents. So there's a lot that I think they can educate us in, they can bring. But really, the best thing that happened for Float was something the university ran, which was a business plan pitching competition, where they invest I think it's £5,000 for a 1% warrant, and that money, getting your hands on that money early on is like a lifeline. Because the minute when you don't have any cash, everything's a struggle, and a lot of stuff the government do, understandably, is match funded, so they'll give you 30% of your cost back once you've spent it, which is fine, but you need to get your hands on some money to spend in the first place. And I think it's just, that's the gap that I think if they could look at a bit more closely, we would make a big difference.
Absolutely. I mean, that's got to be the hardest thing, actually starting.
Yeah, and I think things like incubator space where you don't have to pay rent or some much reduced rent are all really helpful. So those are small things, but yeah, you just really, if you can survive your first year, that's a big question.
So in an ideal world, they would help support going from startup to after 12 months.
Yeah. I mean, certainly if you're not, 12 months is a good period, I think, to be investing in an early stage business. And really, I think you should be able to do some sort of either investment or revenue after that period.
Well, one thing we'd like to discuss with the viewers is the film you're currently working on.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic to share what you're actually doing.
Yeah, I mean, part of, I feel, really, one of the things I want to bring is kind of pulling together some of the stuff in the city, and certainly we ran this startups party, basically for small companies that didn't have enough money or enough people to make a party themselves. Maybe there's two of us, so we thought, let's get a venue, do food, and just kind of get to meet each other a bit more and let our hair down at the end of the year. And so we did that. It was really successful. We had some guys over from Glasgow. Michael, he said to me, "Oh, we don't have this sort of thing in Glasgow," and it made me think there is something special happening over here in Edinburgh. And so we just thought, well, the next logical step is to sort of tell some of the story and showcase what's happening. And with us getting this building, and then that was even just an add-on. Really, there's a story already there, and the university and the community and the networks all sort of coming together. So we just wanted to basically interview the startups and paint some of the picture of that, and really sort of make a statement that we think Edinburgh is a great, it's going to be a real tech hub, and it's a great place to come to university. It's a great place to launch a startup, and there's lots of things happening. So that's kind of the message we wanted to put out there with this video, and we didn't want it to be coming from the government or anybody particularly. We just wanted it to be kind of coming from the ground up. It's not, we're doing this off our own bat, and actually some of the companies, the startup companies here, have funded it. It's been really good. Yeah.
Very, very encouraging news for Edinburgh. It seems a great place for startups to be doing business.
Yeah, I think so. And there's a lot of good people around, and good people in special enterprise, good people in the university, and good people in the startup scene. So we feel like that's all coming together really nicely. And it's just about seeing some good investments and some success stories. And also, some good failures as well. Like, one of the things I was struck by when I was over in Boston recently was just that some of these guys were on their third or fourth startup. They're only like 25, and they've got some of the learning that is really invaluable, like what they would have done differently. And I think, that's something that I think I want to advocate, is fail fast. You don't have to draw it out for 5 years. You can kind of get a sense pretty quickly whether it's going to work or not. We get people, it's not a big failure if a startup fails, because then you bring your learning into the next startup. You haven't worked on the product and you need those skills. So certainly, I think over the next 5-10 years, we're going to see people who have been through a few, wars and learned about how to, got the scars and learn how to do it, and that's going to make a big difference. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Colin, I'd like to thank you for your time. It's been very interesting.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you in the future.